Rain painted the city in shades of gray that morning. It fell in steady, delicate sheets, turning the streets into mirrors that reflected the blurred glow of passing cars. Inside the cafe, the world was warm and golden, filled with the low hum of conversation, the hiss of steaming milk, and the rhythmic clinking of cups. Yet in the farthest corner, away from the chatter and laughter, sat a man who seemed untouched by it all. Alexander Reed, CEO of Nova Tech, had chosen this cafe because no one from his world came here. No investors, no journalists, no employees trying to impress him. Just ordinary people who didn't know, or care, who he was. He liked that, or at least he used to. Now, even the anonymity felt hollow. His tailored suit looked out of place amid the casual crowd, and his untouched cappuccino sat before him, the foam slowly collapsing into the cooling liquid. His phone rested face down on the table, buzzing every few minutes with notifications he refused to check. The world could wait, just for a while. He stared out the rain-speckled window, his reflection faintly merging with the ghostly city lights. The success he'd built, towering glass offices, a global brand, a net worth that made headlines, should have felt like triumph. Instead, it felt like distance. Distance from the brother he hadn't spoken to in years. Distance from the woman who'd once told him love needed time, not money. Distance from himself. He remembered the first day he'd founded his company, a cluttered apartment, instant coffee, sleepless excitement. Back then, every small victory had felt like sunlight breaking through the clouds. Now, even his biggest wins felt muted, like applause echoing in an empty hall. Outside, a group of students ran past, laughing as they dodged puddles. Their laughter drifted faintly through the glass, carrying a kind of warmth Alexander hadn't felt in a long time. He tried to smile but couldn't. He took a sip of his coffee, cold now, and set it back down. The rain showed no sign of stopping. Neither did the quiet ache inside him. He was thinking about leaving when a tiny shadow appeared by his table, small, hesitant, and curious. "Are you okay, sir?" The voice was soft, childlike, unexpected. Alexander looked up, and for the first time that morning, the world shifted. Standing before him was a little girl, no older than 6, her small hands clutching a paper cup of hot chocolate. She wore a pink raincoat dotted with yellow ducks, its hem dripping with rainwater that pooled slightly on the cafe floor. Her dark hair was tied into 2 messy pigtails, one slipping loose over her cheek. Her wide brown eyes held the kind of openness adults forgot how to have. For a moment, Alexander simply stared, unsure how to respond. It had been years since anyone, especially a child, had looked at him without expectation or judgment. "I'm fine," he said, his voice rough from disuse. He forced a polite smile, but the little girl frowned, unimpressed. "You don't look fine," she said matter-of-factly, sliding into the seat across from him as if she owned it. Her legs swung beneath the chair, her rain boots bumping against each other with soft thuds. "You look sad, like my daddy when he misses mommy." Alexander's smile faltered, something in his chest twisted. He glanced around the cafe, half expecting her parent to appear and apologize for the intrusion, but no one came. "I guess I am a little sad," he admitted quietly. The honesty surprised even him. The girl nodded with a small, thoughtful hum, as though she were a tiny therapist taking mental notes. "When I'm sad," she said, "Mommy says to talk to people. It makes your heart feel less squished." "Less squished," Alexander repeated, amused despite himself. "Uh-huh," she said, confidently. "Hearts get all squishy and heavy when you don't talk." He chuckled, a soft, genuine sound that startled him. "That's very wise of you." The girl beamed. "I'm Lily," she announced proudly. "What's your name?" "Alexander," he said. "Hi, Mr. Alexander," she said, reaching into her small backpack. After a moment of rummaging, she pulled out a glittery gold star sticker and handed it to him. "Here, my teacher says stars make people feel better when they're sad." He hesitated, then accepted it. The sticker sparkled faintly under the cafe light, a simple thing that somehow carried warmth. "Thank you, Lily," he murmured. "Now you're shining too," she said, grinning. And for the first time in a long while, Alexander felt something stir inside him, something gentle and human, like the first ray of sunlight after rain. "Lily, there you are." Both of them turned, A young woman stood at the entrance, breathless and rain-damp, clutching a paper bag in one hand and a half-open umbrella in the other. Her cheeks were flushed, her expression a mix of relief and exasperation. "You can't just wander off like that, sweetheart," she said, rushing over. Lily grinned guiltily. "But, Mommy," he looked sad. "I was helping." The woman froze as her gaze landed on the man across from her daughter. Her eyes widened in recognition, the expensive suit, the calm but unmistakable presence. "Oh my, Mr. Reed." Alexander straightened slightly, offering a small, courteous nod. He'd grown used to that reaction. To most people, he was Alexander Reed, CEO of Nova Tech, not simply Alexander. The woman stammered, I work in your marketing department, sir." "I didn't realize." "Lily, sweetie, you shouldn't bother people." "She wasn't bothering me," Alexander interrupted gently. His tone was soft, stripped of the polished authority it usually carried. "In fact, she gave me something very special." He lifted his hand to show the glittery gold star stuck neatly on the back of it. Lily's mother let out a small, embarrassed laugh. "Oh dear, she brings those everywhere. I'm so sorry if she—" "Please," he said, cutting her off with a faint smile. "Don't apologize." There was a pause, a quiet, almost sacred stillness between them, as the rain continued to fall outside. The woman looked at him more closely now, noticing the tiredness in his eyes that the media photos never showed. "You really did look sad," she said softly. Alexander looked down at the star. "Maybe I was," he admitted. Then, glancing at Lily, he added, "But your daughter reminded me that even when the sky's gray, there's still a little light left to find." Lily giggled. "See, Mommy, I told you stars fix everything." Her laughter rippled through the air like sunlight breaking through clouds. Alexander couldn't help but laugh too, quiet, genuine, free. As mother and daughter prepared to leave, Lily waved enthusiastically. "Bye, Mr. Alexander. Don't be sad anymore, okay?" He waved back, the gold star still glinting faintly on his hand. "I'll try, Lily." For the first time in years, he meant it. When the bell above the cafe door jingled and Lily and her mother disappeared into the misty drizzle, the space around Alexander felt different. The chatter of customers and the hum of the espresso machine returned to focus, but somehow, the air seemed lighter, like the weight pressing against his chest had shifted just enough for him to breathe again. He looked down at the golden star still clinging to the back of his hand. Its glitter shimmered faintly in the cafe's soft light, catching the glow of a hanging lamp. Such a simple thing, a child's sticker, but it pulsed with meaning. It reminded him of how long it had been since something pure had entered his world, unfiltered by profit or performance. He leaned back in his seat, closing his eyes briefly. For once, his mind wasn't filled with quarterly projections, pending acquisitions, or unread emails. Instead, he thought of Lily's small, concerned face. Her voice had been so sure, so sincere. "Don't be sad anymore, okay?" It struck him that she hadn't seen the CEO everyone else did, she'd seen the man behind the suit. And maybe, for just a moment, she'd helped him see that man too. When he finally stood to leave, the rain had softened to a fine mist. The world outside seemed newly washed, the city's edges blurred and peaceful. As he stepped out, the scent of wet pavement filled the air, a scent that reminded him of childhood walks home after storms, back when life was simpler, warmer. Across the street, a small toy store caught his eye. In the window sat a row of glittery star stickers, just like the one on his hand. He smiled to himself, stepping inside. The shopkeeper looked up in surprise as the tall man in the tailored suit bought 3 packs without explanation. That evening, back at his office, Alexander didn't dive into the usual pile of reports. Instead, he pulled a notepad from his drawer, placed one of Lily's golden stars on the corner, and wrote a few words beneath it. "Remember to stay human." He set it on his desk where he'd see it every morning. The rain outside had stopped entirely, and through the window, the first faint stars were beginning to appear. For the first time in years, Alexander didn't feel alone.